We have all witnessed the layoffs of thousands of employees over the past couple of years at companies like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and Twitter. The consequences of COVID on organizations became evident when they recognized they had hired excessively during the pandemic. You might not be aware of this, but the majority of businesses have stopped recruiting women. It might be surprising to learn that more firms are refusing to hire women to fill their positions, and no corporation will admit this to you. Why? Because women bring a lot of drama to the table, and endless cases of ruining employee culture by falsely accusing male colleagues who no longer want to work with women.
Many businesses still need to hire women, impeding the government's efforts to raise female employment levels in accordance with vision. A research team wanted to explore the challenges that businesses encounter when hiring women. They conducted interviews and focus groups with large multinational corporations, as well as small and medium-sized businesses, SMEs, from various industries. They asked firms with female employees what obstacles they faced, and firms without female employees what challenges they expected if they hired women.
One of my coworkers came at me today because apparently she just couldn't take it anymore. She was like, "Brandon, I have to say something. I noticed you don't use any African American women in your videos. What are you trying to pull? Like, we all know that there are black single moms out there." I said, "Yes, there are plenty of black single moms out there, Vanessa. But front camera, crying, adding music, and you posting it? I don't think so."
The actual and perceived hurdles to employing women varied amongst organizations. Companies that demand heavy physical labor prefer to hire men. Segregation is not a realistic solution for service sector organizations that rely on a lot of employee-client interaction, as our work needs involvement. By being separated, it will not work. However, not all businesses see female employees as a problem. Some argue that hiring women is more efficient than hiring Saudi men to achieve Saudization quotas, since their work ethic is better. Nearly 40% of businesses say they have or will have trouble keeping female staff. A high turnover rate means higher onboarding and training costs for businesses, as well as weaker institutional knowledge among employees.
Don't even realize it may be a place with all Nerf guns and it just feels like a dude frat party. Do you have women advisors? Do you have people? Do you guys have conversations?
Yeah, we have
with
conversations.
Other founders?
You read, you pay attention to it. It's something that at my station of life, my age, it's inexcusable to not have your ears open and to dive in and be knowledgeable, what's happening. So we ask, one of my partners just did a great thing where he asked some of the female founders of true portfolio companies, what's that like pitching us? What are the things that we, haven't been sensitized to, because we're all guys, right? So let's okay, so let's open up and let's think about it. Listen, we have a long list and we are so far from where we need to be. But I'm really proud of the ability for our team to open up and listen to it, and then like figure out like what we want to go do about it.
Almost 1/3 of businesses are concerned that hiring female employees may enhance their chances of being subjected to labor inspection. The Ministry of Labor and Social Development, MLSD, performs random inspections to ensure corporate compliance with labor standards and levies financial penalties on firms that violate them. Many businesses are concerned that hiring women may increase their risk of inspection and expose them to greater scrutiny for female employee-specific requirements, such as separate entrances and working spaces.
We had a couple of weeks ago, we had this conversation. We had members of Congress on and said, why not go through the ethics process with Al Franken? And the answer was the process is flawed and it favors members of Congress. And that very well may be true, but it's the process you've got.
Yeah.
So you don't throw out due process
I think
altogether.
the process
Make
itself
the process
is what we need to be talking about before we talk about the men, because the process needs to be, it's going to be complicated, but I think women feel that they are maligned and mistreated through the process, and therefore they're afraid to step forward. So we need to look at the process. But right now, any woman can say anything, and a man's career is ruined. Now, a lot of women can say things that are true, and their career should be ruined.
By the way,
but the problem is
by the way, hold on.
that any woman can say anything, and that's it, it's over. Is that how we're running businesses now?
There is a reporter whose name I will not mention, a very good reporter who was called in, was not told what he was accused of by an anonymous person, and he was immediately dismissed. So not only do you not get to face your accuser, in this case, you don't even get to know what the charges are against you. So when you hire a lawyer, you can't defend yourself. And again, if this is where this movement takes us, this is very dangerous, and not just dangerous for men. This is dangerous for everybody. This is
why the solution is in a more transparent workplace, in open-door policies, in ways that prevent these types of things from ever happening. It's why we have to look at how we do business. We have to make hard changes, and we have to, pull back a little bit. Some of the ideas I've had in the past have seemed a little bit like Elizabethan times or something, but you know what? We have to prevent the possibility. Instead of having some HR office that you run to after and you're cowering in there, you don't want to show your face, and you think no one will believe you. That's a problem. I totally understand what women face here. I just also I'm stricken. I'm chilled by some of the cases I'm seeing now of people being run out of their jobs, bankrupted, and absolutely no due process.
I will say again.
Some employers are hesitant to hire women, citing concerns about their feminist tendencies. These organizations see female employees as potentially detrimental to workplace peace, as they prioritize personal agendas over communal aims. Such biases appear in unequal treatment, with women denied the respect and attention they deserve within the organization. As a result, women are frequently neglected, their contributions disregarded, and possibilities for progress restricted.
I will say again, I'll go back. Whatever the movement is, whatever the cause is, if you think it is bigger than due process, giving people an opportunity to be heard and making sure that people, I know there are some people that say, well, you know what, if some people get destroyed, if their lives get destroyed, that's a small prize.
I know men who say they won't hire women now, so that's great. That's
stupid. Yeah.
Well, what would you do? If someone could just say, Sam touched me inappropriately.
You need to have an atmosphere that's open to women coming forward.
So, Sam, what happens 20 years from now? What happens 20 years from now, Sam? Where somebody says, I worked with Sam Stein at the Huffington Post, and we were having drinks one night, and he put his hand on my leg. What happens in this environment? 20 years from now, you're fired.
Well, I'll say I work at the Daily Beast.
I know, but back when, back when you first started at the Huffington Post, that's the environment we're in.
I want to go back to my original point, which is I don't think there is. I agree that there is a really difficult problem here of due process, and it needs to be. Whoever is accused, it needs to at least have their point heard and the ability to face their accusers, which is due process, the essential element of due process. I worry, and I just want to make sure, like, that you allow an environment where the actual victims here are still able to come forward and say, you know what, this happened. Yeah. And this is difficult. I mean, with the problem with Al in the end was that he had a series of incidents where he was grabbing people's butts. That doesn't say he shouldn't get due process.
Is there a picture of that?
He admitted that it likely happened. So I just want to be clear. The problem that Al faced was Al's own making. Yeah. Now, the secondary problem was what happens when those things come out into the fore. In that case, Al did deserve to have, I don't know why I keep calling him Al, Senator Franken did deserve to have due process. But let's not act like the system screwed him. He screwed himself. That's all I'm saying.
Mika, the changes...
By the way, we're at 6:30.
This attitude toward women in the workplace hampers diversity and inclusion efforts, while also stifling innovation and productivity. Companies that disregard female employees' talents and views miss out on valuable insights and new methods that could promote growth and success. Furthermore, the continuation of gender discrimination tarnishes the company's reputation, resulting in decreased consumer trust and investor confidence. And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.